I'd like to also introduce Mr. Richard Demko, running for the 105th seat in Seymour and Beacon Falls, and this is somebody I truly look forward to working with up in Hartford. Please, Richard.
Thanks. Good evening. I would like to thank all of you for coming out here tonight to support me in my run for the 105th District State Representative seat, and also for coming out to support Lieutenant Colonel Phil Tripp, who we are overlapping in the city of Derby and in the towns of Beacon Falls. For those of you who don't already know me, my name is Richard Demko, and I threw my hat into this ring because it is time to start bringing some sensibility, some accountability, and some fiscal responsibility back up to Hartford. It is time to take back our government and put our elected representatives back to working for we the people and not they themselves. And the only way this is going to happen is by electing representatives who will truly stand up for the people they represent and who will truly vow to protect and uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. Now, unfortunately, as we have seen over the course of the past few decades, our state's government has been overrun by the influence of lobbyists and special interest groups. Spending is completely out of control, not only here in our state, but in the entire nation. And the majority of our politicians up in Hartford are not acting within the best interests of the people whom they represent, but instead are acting on behalf of their lobbyists and big cash supporters. This has created a state that has one of the highest debts in the nation. It has created a state that has wasted millions of taxpayer dollars to support special interest projects that do not benefit the people in our communities whatsoever, a state that now ranks 49 out of 50 in fiscal stability. And finally, it has created a state that is one of the most expensive places to live. With the recent round of tax increases, hardworking families, many of whom are right here in this building tonight, are really struggling to survive. We've seen businesses pack up and leave because the high cost of doing business in our state has forced them out, taking with them many great high-paying jobs. Now, our representatives are fully aware of the current financial status of our state, and there have been a few who have tried to focus on fixing our state's economy, but they have been met with strong resistance from the hardline liberals and their special agendas. And until we elect representatives that will start making sensible decisions, and we elect representatives who will start taking a fiscally conservative approach when voting to fund our state's programs, the liberal politicians up in Hartford will continue to play their big political chess game, using us voters and taxpayers as their pawns to protect their kings. If given the opportunity to work for you up in Hartford in November, I will vote to eliminate unnecessary spending on special interests, and I will vote to reduce and eliminate taxes, because we all work hard for our money, and we should be able to keep more of it. And it is time that we gave the people of our state a little break. So saving people money and making the cost of living more affordable will be one of my top priorities. Now, let me give you a good example about what I'm talking about when I say special interests. This past fiscal year, we saw funding get cut to our local hospitals during a time when healthcare was at, and still is, at its most vulnerable level with the passage of the Affordable Health Care Act. But yet some of our legislators found it more important to spend $1.9 million for a water taxi that goes out to Pleasure Beach that has a population of 0. This is only a small example of the wasteful spending that needs to stop, and it is only a small example of the types of things that have contributed to Connecticut's largest tax hike in the history of our state. And I will not sit silent if given the opportunity to work for you and represent you, as I will not vote in favor of a budget loaded with this type of wasteful spending. No way, no how, not on my watch. I will push for job creation and business retention. I fully support making the cost of doing business in our state more affordable for large and small businesses by supporting measures to lower business taxes and licensing fees. We need to attract new businesses. And we need to create new higher paying jobs. We've got to put the people of Connecticut back to work. And by giving businesses a break, they'll be able to afford to hire new employees. And they'll be able to offer higher wages to their employees. So jobs and wages will be another one of my top priorities. Now, I do support and believe in education reform. But Common Core is not the answer. In order for true education reform, we need to keep education in the hands of the local school districts with a curriculum that is written by our frontline classroom teachers, that is tailored around the needs of the children in the district, as each child has different learning styles and each child progresses at a completely different pace. So I will work to stop Common Core to ensure that education is kept at the local level without the interference of the state and federal government's mandates. So on November 4th, 2014, let's send a message to Hartford. Let's tell Hartford that you've had enough of the wasteful spending. Let's tell Hartford that you want someone who's got their priorities straight and who will work hard to save you money and who will work hard to protect your constitutional freedoms, especially the Second Amendment. Tell Hartford you want Richard Demko to represent the 105th. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not your typical polished, spit-shine politician, and I might be a little rough around the edges. But what I am is I am a hard-working individual for the people, by the people. Once again, thank you all for coming down to show your support, and I look forward to having the opportunity to serve as your representative up in Hartford.